do indicate that, not that we are bragging, but to give glory to God, because it is not given that you will bear children and all of them will go to school and graduate. So sizama ukuthi akuwona amandla ethu noma ukuqonda kwethu kodwa kumusa kaNkulunkulu. So when I write that in my bio, I give testimony that God is God and He has given us grace. I know that seated here are parents whose children have acquired a lot of academic qualification, more than my children, and I know that the seated here are parents whose children are working in very lucrative jobs, more than what my children do. I do know that seated here amongst you are people who are highly qualified than myself, but it is by grace that I am elected to stand before you and address you on this occasion. I take this opportunity to greet the District Director, Mr. Keswa. I greet Ms. Mkize, who is the Assessment and Accreditation Director in KwaZulu-Natal Province. I greet the CMC Chief Babu Nyambose, nabo bonke abahloli, ngibingelele bonke o-principal no-teacher abakhona, ngibingelele abazali, bese isikakhulukazi ngibingelele abantwana abakhona la, ngoba ngaphandle kwenu bantwana bami will not have this function. I have coined my address for today and I've entitled it as the Examination Unfit Class of 2021, the Resilient Class. My justification for choosing this title is as follows, is that when they were doing grade 11, pandemic started. In 2020, there was hard lockdown in March. That was followed by many stops and go, which affected the rhythm of their teaching and learning. When we went back to school in May, the priority was given to grade 12 and 7. They were the second lot to be considered to come back to school after some weeks. And with that being said, there were many losses in terms of teaching and learning time. During the hard lockdown, teachers and learners had to resort to the online teaching, with teachers having to adapt to something that they were never taught in universities and colleges as a mode or a method of teaching, that is online teaching, let alone the difficulty in terms of accessing the connectivity where they teach, most of them in terms of the infrastructure of their schools, and worse, the learners, where they come from, where they stay in terms of their background, because mostly we teach the learners who are coming from the poorest of the poor background. So as a result, clearly they will be affected in that there would be no connectivity. We teach in schools where when you want to call an educator, you shall have to make an appointment with an educator to say, call me during break because I'll be standing on top of a particular stone or somewhere where there is connectivity. Otherwise, when you call me or when you send me a message, I will only see it in the evening when ngikashe khona noma sengisekhaya. So you can imagine the difficulty that teachers had to navigate through. But Ushilo no Baba Old Mutual, sorry not to have recognized you, Baba Old Mutual and Sanlam. In my other life, when I was in SATU, I used to be responsible for the desk called MAPCOM, and I know that I initiated workings with all the what are you called? Insurance companies. Yes, it helps to go to places with the wife when you forget some of the things, because she helps you with the writing of the speech. So she will then say insurance companies, and on the road I made her to drive whilst I was rehearsing my speech. So she knows that I must say insurance companies. So like Onushwa was saying that the teachers are teaching in a very difficult time when in our schools were engulfed with drugs. The district director did indicate that as Pulimlilo every day, but teachers, because they are teachers during pandemic, they had to be creative and navigate through that. Learners had difficulty accessing online teaching, like I've indicated. 2021 schools opened in February. That was your grade 12s. They opened they were now grade 12 last year, opening in February, which is something that was never heard of or that we had never experienced in our lifetime. And when we were still going okay, another wave hit us and we had to close for winter earlier than the scheduled time. This is the class that did not have the boot camps in March, July, September, as it is a tradition of the department in preparing our learners to do so. We had trial examination and final examinations that were very close to each other, and even Omamunki's exam could not do anything, and with that we did not have time or enough time to revise between trial exam or preparatory exams and the final exams, unlike the class, the previous class, that exams had to start very late and going very late into December. The teachers did not have weekends. The teachers did not have holidays. Teachers did not have afternoons for their families. Of late, I'm hearing that in this district there is DSTV, there is one KZN strategy. Oh, you did not say one KZN, DSTV. There is DSTV, there is SABC, but they are all TV strategies that they are implementing. So we are then saying that I've heard that now they are bringing on board Saturday classes, your grade 10, 11 and 12. And I heard the district director speaking something about other grades in the foundation phase. So very soon we'll be seeing grade R having Saturday classes. And as from the first, we will be adopting RR and 0 to 4 years from social development. I think this will be the first district where we shall see Saturday classes for the 0 to 4 years. It's a very serious district. But I would like to have some of what I'm saying here on recorded as video, so that when I'm home, I can see what is it that I was saying to people, so that ngizwile ubaba olmushwaleti bayabuya next day, so that ngibuya next day nami sengingcono kunalo, ngiyazimema ke njengoba ngikhona next day. Angithi same venue. Yeah, vele ngiyazi play for that naye ngivenye ngconyana, so it's guaranteed to see. Ifake ikhathi nge-date mangagejana nge-18 kusho ukuthi ngizobenila noma emshwathi umshwathi akona wena umshwathi hall. So the annual teaching plans in grade 11, but when they came to grade 11, they had to do a full curriculum coverage in grade 12. So both teachers and learners were always exhausted. Teachers still had to lead from the front despite all these difficulties. Program director, chief director, it is at this point in time that I wish to call upon all teachers in this room to stand on their feet, so that we honor them on behalf of all the teachers of KwaZulu-Natal for the great job that they have done. I implore you to stand up. Let us clap hands for all the teachers that are in here. We thank you very much, teachers, and we honor you. Addressing the learners, I've seen some of them, but some of them, because we are speaking about serious learners here, and we are in March, they are about to come home, because these are learners that will be in universities already, because I've heard that we are celebrating 80 and above. So if you are then celebrating 80 and above learners, those are your learners who are already in university. I end up with basazo supplement or whatever, or basakuminda mama points, anganeli and stuff like that. So we are celebrating excellence. So to the learners, I want to thank you. Those that are here, those that are not here, teachers will take this message to them, parents will do the same, to say we thank you for causing us to meet like this, and you must have had a prophecy from your educators at some stage of your schooling, whether in grade 11 and 12. Educators would say to learners who are committed to say, where Namtanam you will go very far, like Utimo, for instance, that has been honored by the district director and has been blessed by the district director, speaking blessing over that child, to say he will become the president, not necessarily that he will become the president of the country, but he is saying that he will grow to be something very big in this country. We observe something that umntwana obeyenza jena ethi uyacomply but umntwana was here 10 to 9 when there was no one else in the hall and was seated alone here because umcimbi was set to be starting at 10. These are the things that educators we are taught to observe. So I'm saying if you are a committed learner or a child, you must have had a prophecy from your educator saying that you will go very far. And going very far are some of the learners that are seated here and some of them that are already in universities that we are going to be seeing 1 or 2 weeks from now when they come home for the recess. We are saying such teachers, when they say these things to their learners, it's on two bases. One level is that they appreciate you as a learner, that you are committed. Secondly is that at least there is someone who gives evidence and testimony that they are hardworking people, and as such you are doing very well, and you also pass your studies. And such learners are not easy to forget. You know when you have done very well and you were a bright student, not necessarily a bright student, but a committed learner at school, your educators will never forget you. Even after 20, 30 years, whenever they meet you at the mall, they will call you by name. There are those learners that some of you have taught in grade 12 just last year. You have forgotten them. There are those that did not do very well, but because they were troublesome learners, you still remember their names. But you don't remember their names for what they came to do at school, but for causing trouble. And we are saying such learners that we are celebrating, you are likely to see them 4 times in a year, in March, June, September, December, when they come from universities. But those that were troublesome, you now all of a sudden you see them every day at school. These are the learners that used not want to come to school. These are the learners that will come late to school. These are the learners that will cause trouble at school. These are the learners that will leave school before school ends. But now they are the ones who are hanging around the school. Baphambana nje nokwenza ingoba bayile nhlobo yabantwana le abayiyona. Now umsebenzi wabo manje sekuphelezela abantwana bayesikoleni ekseni babalande emini nani omunye nje uzwe nje ufundisa nje dlula kuveranda athi hey kholeyo uhlekwe esikolweni ke acabanga ukuthi ngokwenze njalo se-achievile iyona into ayiyenza leyo ene into azoqhubeka ayenze laba abebelalela bane crown namhlanje. That is why we are gathered like this. We are saying to abantwana in absentia, when you get to universities, continue to be good, respecting students, and most importantly, respecting yourselves. But what we implore you to do is to dream big when you are in that university. Dreams must be coupled with goals, and your goals must be coupled with discipline and consistent. Because dreams without discipline, they are never accomplished. Don't be afraid to academically explore, take chances professionally, and in life, you must always strive big so that when you fall big. Kuzwakale ukuthi kuwe umuthi omkhulu. Abantu, if you fall in that manner, abantu abasho ukuthi ubethu wenzani. Ngoba sonke we're looking up to you to say this one wants to be a pilot from Msinga, kungakaze kucatshangwe ukuthi ngahle kube khona i-pilot, so that if it does not happen that you become a pilot, you become something else that is still big. So aiming big always helps. We implore you to have a never give up attitude or moment. Everyone has his or her turn back moment, and either going forward or backward. So kuyasifikela sonke lobo siphila siyabantu ukuthi ngiqhubeke ikhona lento engenzayo or ayikho lento engenzayo. We always have our doubt. It is at that time when you have such moments that you must soldier on, because many a times the opportunity that you have or the thought that you are grappling with at that point in time will never come back to you, or that opportunity will never happen again. And the guarantee of that is when you postpone it. And the guarantee of that is when you move backward and don't move forward. And then that is the guarantee that you have at that point in time, at that moment, you have lost that opportunity. But we want to have learners who have a great attitude. As you accomplish, reach out to others. We want learners who are going to adopt a spirit of each one, teach one. Because the more you help others, the more it shall be added unto you. More especially in the educational setup. The more you help others in university, you have seen it that when you were in high school, you were the one who were helping some other people with their resolving or their sums in terms of mathematics. You were the one who was helping, coordinating the studies, and during study you were leading. And by so doing, uyazi kakhulu into uyazi kangcono. So also continue with that in the university. The same attitude could be adopted by us as educators. The schools that are doing very well, let's also reach out and pull up other schools. The 40% schools, the 8 of them that the district director has spoken about, let us not say, hey, labana bayalayela or sibatlulile, siyaboma 90%, siyaboma 100%, adopt them. Have meetings with them. And nani abo teacher mkhulu nabo teacher who are getting 40, don't close ukuthi manje ke bazozenza ngcono and stuff like that. Kona basuke bengcono kodwa ke asisho lawa. Allow them to assist you so that you could then be assisted, because each and every school, if it increases its pass rate, at the end of the day, it assists the district. At the end of the day, it assists the province. So it's a spiral effect of some kind that we want to have from our educators. So we urge our schools to network. This thing of learning professional committees, professional learning committees, PLCs. Yeah, is it PLCs, ne? PLCs. We want to see them being practicalized, not just a theory that through teacher development we attend workshops like obemela bekhulumela ama governing board ukuthi sabizwe emahotela sadla in, but where is the safety in schools that we're taught about? Where is the PLTC that we're taught about for some days? So even the PLCs that we are being taught about, we must see them a pillar from the school itself, graduating into the circuit, into the district, so that we will see that as professionals we can gather like this during our own time, whether it's afternoon or whatever, gather in a particular school when someone is monitoring study, and then we discuss the subjects, as it were, as educators, so that we exchange knowledge. Ngoba asikaze singafana, uNkulunkulu akaze asidala singafana. We are saying to our learners, as you accomplish, come back and benefit your family. Be the change of agent in your family. And we are then saying the same could be done by our educators when we come back from the workshops. Satu was also complaining that we employ educators, we don't workshop them, and they've taken a lead to do so, which is something that we appreciate. And it is some stakeholders. Some stakeholders where there is a gap, branch chairperson, you also close that gap. And it makes sense in figuring I want a gap somewhere. My val, so so we do such things. For instance, learners, we can't continue to complain about not having connectivity, when you have become great things in life, great engineers, great scientists, great this and this and this, and then you go to Joburg, and then still when you call your family, you make an appointment for them to then say, I will then call you at a particular time when you have connectivity. When that side you are praised, you are a CEO of Vodacom, you are a CEO of this and that and that and that. So you must start benefiting your home where you come from, or your community. The most selfish thing you can do is to help someone, because the inner gratification that you get is much more fulfilling. Hard work works. Doing a lot more does not always result in a more being done. Do not confuse movement with progress. We want to stay, if you want to stay in comfort zone, the answer of that is where you are going to meet your failure. Success is very much uncomfortable. If you want to be successful, you must start to being comfortable with being uncomfortable, so that you must put some pressure on yourself. For instance, if you are studying and you keep on postponing and say, you enjoy Glala and stuff like that, you have excuses and excuses and excuses. Those excuses are very much comfortable. But the moment you start to say, I need to submit, I need to complete this assignment, I need to do this, and I need to do it, and no one else will do it for me, but I have to do it myself. You are starting to make yourself uncomfortable. But as you make yourself uncomfortable in that process, you are then inviting to be successful. As I conclude, Program Director, I want to conclude by saying, put God first. More especially the principalities and the evil powers that are in operation in this planet, Earth planet. There are so many. more especially things that are happening in our schools, principals that are here, teachers that are here, and resume your duties. You don't know what is happening in your school. Friday evening, Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then you just go to your office. The first thing I want to anabaya telela, the first thing I want to anabaya kwazana, is because you are, as a principal, as a teacher, you did not pray when you left home. You did not pray when you get to the school. If you are a principal, just walk around the verandas without a teacher pray, just pray silently. Pray around the school and ukoshe imoya emibi ngokuba ikhona yona. For instance, we're using this school this Saturday to celebrate like this, but some of your schools are used for funerals as we speak. Tomorrow there's going to be a church service, all sorts of services, with all prophets who come with all different healing water and oil to your school, and bangles and whatever. And they prophesy whether and you come on Monday, you just assume as if everything is okay. So we're saying everything that you have achieved, it is a gift from God, never forget that. And all things that you will achieve are from Him. He has already declared them for you, and all you have to do is to claim them. As a matter of Pisa, when you go to sleep at night, some of us, we don't sleep at night, so it can be assumed when you go to sleep at night. Put amashebanis ark, your sandals, right in the middle of under the bed. Just push them deeper. Do you know why you do that? So that in the morning, when you wake up, it's not a matter of they are just next to your bed and you just and your gown and stuff like that. It will force you to kneel down to reach for them. And when you are in that process of reaching down for your sandals, because you have already knelt down, Sala usutandaza usulako. Yes, you can clap hands for that. And say, thank you, God, for the night. And say, thank you, God, for the grace, for the understanding of my studies. More especially in Abantwana, University, you must pray. And more especially Abazali, when you take Labantwana University, you must start praying for them when you enter that gate. Because things that we hear happening in universities, Abantwana bahlale room eyodwa baqobane bafake na kuma suitcase. Uyazibona lezi zinto lezi ukuthi usathane. Ewesivile umfana ahlale nomunye umfana ahambe naye amluthe aphume erumini ambulale amshise abuye abe ku campaign yokubheka njengoba kubhekwa lo mfana acinge naye amcinge abe azi ukuthi umshisile umshise kuphi. I always imagine, how can one man do that to me? Ukuthi angishaye such that aze akwazi ukungishisa sisobabili nje engalekelelwa umuntu. But uyabona ukuthi usuke engayedwa lo muntu, usuke ehamba namademoni kaSathane. Angithi eThekwini, for instance, labafana laba babhema inyawupe kuthiwa abasabhema inyawupe kuphela emathuneni lawa abantu laba seniqalile futhi nani ngiyayingena lemkhubo yokuthanda ukushiswa ninjalo nje lemlotha le mawuya laphana kulamathuna lawa asuke lamathuna amancane asodongeni. They take le milotha le lamabhukusi amancane and they smoke leyo milotha leyo. So you can imagine lo muntu mangena kwakho ebusuku ezoqhekeza ukuthi yini leyo sukulwa nayo wena. Into noma uphethe ubhushi nje uthi uyayishaya nje iqhubeka ize nje kuwena. So izinto lezi inkathi ezinzima lezi esiphila kuzo esazizwa ukuthi lapha ku Matthew 24 ukuthi sizokwenzeka sicabanga ukuthi mhlambe not in our lifetime ziyenzeka manje ukuthi how can umuntu abheme umlotha umuntu azi kahle ukuthi umuntu lo oshonile awubheme bangene kwakho batshontshe iTV yakho yo big screen abafuneka ku TV kuthiwa khona umlotha oku screen nje abawufuna nje babheme wona bashiye iTV la. So we are saying we must then put God first in all what we are doing, but more especially let's have faith. Some writers, when they define faith, they define it as confidence in what we hope for and the assurance that the Lord is working even though we cannot see it, unquote. I want to conclude by saying God is always coming and He is never late. Don't aspire to make a living, but aspire to make a difference. I thank you.